I hope my screen is visible to you all. So in the 14th session of our object, yesterday we saw that a basic introduction firstly, some theory part of object. Why do they play such an important role in JavaScript? Then why do we need it? Then what's the difference between an array and an object? Then we saw that like everything in JavaScript, almost everything in JavaScript is an object. We can even declare like the primitive data types in form of object using the new keyword. We saw that maths and regular expressions, dates, arrays, functions, objects, null still. In the first lecture we saw null is also an object. So except primitive data types, rest other everything in JavaScript comes into the category of object. So there are different ways of creating an object. We saw like how do we create with using object literals, then using new keyword, and there's a constructed way also, and there's an object dot create method also to create a new object. Then next comes is like objects. We saw that objects are mutable. That means we can, once we have created a new object, we can modify it, we can delete it, we can add elements to the object, and we can play it with it. So it is mutable. We can change the values of it, we can change the size. That's why objects are said to be mutable in JavaScript. And we also saw that they are addressed by reference, not by values. So whenever we create an object, whenever we create a copy of an object, it always give me an address. It always give me the reference of the original value, original, from wherever we have copied it, and it does not give me the value. So as soon as I make changes into my copies, it will also be going to reflect into my original values. And we also saw that singleton objects made with constructor. So always whenever we make an objects with using constructor, using new keyword, they make a singleton object. Whereas whenever we make an object with literals, it won't create a singleton object. So that was a kind of theory part we saw yesterday. And this is all like examples we took: object literals and object, using new keyword. And I guess you are able to recall. Anybody have any doubt in yesterday's session? So that if you have, you can just clear it and move on to our today's session. Guys, am I audible? Okay. So like today is the 15th session, and in today's session we will be discussing about object properties. So slowly, now if we are able to see, we are going to increase our difficulty level. Till now we were playing very at the very basic level, but from now onwards we will feel like, yeah, now the toughness is a bit raising. So please pay attention. If you have any difficulty, we could like uh, get into the more deeper session of it, so that you are able to get the main point, get the main understanding. So in today's class we are going to see some object properties. Basically whatever we have saw yesterday, like in depth, we will see it today, 3 4, and an additional part. So first and foremost thing, in JavaScript, objects are the king, of course. In JavaScript everything is object, almost everything is object, so of course that is going to lead. So objects are the king. If you understand objects, you understand JavaScript. So that is a kind of quote for the day. You should always remember it. JavaScript objects ही king है. अगर आप उनको अच्छे से समझ लेते हो, then you have a proper command on JavaScript. So what are the topics that we are going to cover up today? This topic we have already seen, but still we'll quickly revise it. How do we access JavaScript properties? How do we access JavaScript object properties? JavaScript object properties, then JavaScript object for in loop. We have seen the for loop. Today we will see the for in loop. Then we will see how do we add new properties, that's also delete property, this also we have seen yesterday, but we'll just revise it because these are the only things which are going to come in upcoming lectures as well. So yeah, and we'll see nested objects, then object inside an array, then what is the object dot assign property method, then we'll see object dot keys, values, entries, and has own properties. Five normal topics. So starting up with the first one. So object assigning assigning JavaScript, accessing JavaScript object properties. So there are basically 2 to 3 ways how can we access, how can we retrieve some object properties. So for that I will just declare an object. So const, and I will try to create some different objects today, because normally though we saw my object, my name, my details we saw. Today we will try to get like different objects. So I will create an object as, let's say, my dream house. Okay, so I have created an object of my dream house. So what are the things that comes into whenever I imagine a house that I want to build? So I can say that first thing is the location. Okay, where the house, at which location, at which point I'm going to make this house. So this is going to be at my village. I will just pass the name of my village. Okay, so this is like depends on you, whatever name you can give. Then comes the design. Okay, the design, I want the design to be like a farmhouse, as it is going to be at my village, so it should be like farmhouse and a traditional vibe. It should give me a traditional vibe. Okay, right. And then what comes in the house, and then comes the price. Okay, what is my budget? Okay, I can say the budget. So my budget is approximately 20 lakhs. It can vary. What do I have else? Then I have like what comes into my dream house then? I have the location, I have the design, I have the budget. Then what I have, um, I can have like a boolean value as well. Like, is it in the construction process? So uh, has is in the construction process. So I will say it as false. No, it's not in the construction process yet. So I have the location, I have the budget, I have the design of the house, I have like whether it is in the construction process, has it started in like building. So I'm saying it as false. And I will also make like a function at the end saying me that highlights of the, like I want the, like what are the speciality of this house. So I can say it as specialiali, specialities of the house. Okay, so I can pass it as function. So whenever I call this function, it should give me some details about the house, what is the special thing about. So in this I can just console log some a text. So for that I will access this properties first, that this is only what is the speciality, its location, its design, and stuff like that. So I can just say using double quotes, using backticks, I can use this syntax and I can just print as this is my dream house. I am gonna customize CUST, customize it to the next level. And what if I want to access this kind of like this properties? If I want to access, we saw that yesterday we can use the we can use the this keyword. So This not I'm not using it. This is just a normal this. This house will be located at. So now I'm going to use this location. I will access this location key. How do I access this? I will have to use, first I will have to use dollar sign, and then in that this dot location. So I will get the access of location. So this house will be located at this dot location, and its design will be. So again I will have to use the dollar sign, and in that curly braces I can pass the design. Okay, this dot design. So getting the point. So this is a very basic object we have created. So now I wanted to access the values from this. So yesterday we saw that the first and the foremost, like which has been most widely used, is the dot way. So how can I just if I want to access the design of the house, so how can I say that? I will use first the name of the what is my name of the object, and then I can just say uh, name object name dot design. Okay, so this is how I access the properties of the object. If I just wanted to console log this, how can I say it as then? So just console log this property console dot log. So after doing this, I will be able to say the I should get printed as farmhouse, and that it's traditional. So yeah, I can get it as yeah, I'm able to get the value printed as farmhouse traditional. But this is not the only way. We can also, like, the second way of we can access it is using the square brackets, and we should prefer that syntax. I also told you, like, why do we prefer that syntax. I will just get a quick. So if I want to access this, like this time I wanted to access whether it is in the construction process or not. So I can just pass the same value into the square brackets. I don't have to use the dot here as such. I can just directly pass it. Everything fine, guys? So yeah, this is how I can access. So I should be able to, what is it saying me?